WWWWOCA.
When it really counts, depend on The Source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Hi, I'm Fran Darkington. When I need news, I pass the rest and tune to The Source, WOCA.
All right, thank you. 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. You know, when President Kennedy made the declaration that before the end of the decade, back in the 60s, we would land a man on the moon, it was the beginning of an effort that panned out to be very successful and clearly could be traced back to the determination and that one statement by somebody in a position of authority that we were indeed going to do this. So, in order to do that, though, I mean, you can't just make a declaration. Next thing you know, you're walking on the moon. You got to do. You got to do a lot of research. You got to do a lot of studies. You got to do a lot of figuring. How are we going to accomplish this, right? Mm-hmm. So, in the same way, I think it was Vice President Joe Biden who first made the statement that it's like a moonshot initiative to defeat cancer, the National Cancer Moonshot Initiative. President Obama is, of course, behind it, and Vice President Joe Biden. And again, if we're going to conquer cancer, it's not just make a statement, oh, okay, it's fixed. There's a lot of study that has to be done. And once again, our veterans are stepping up to the plate with this one as well. They are part of something called the Million Veteran Program. This is to study how genes affect our health and how we might be able to conquer cancer with some of those discoveries. And it all has to do with studying human beings and what they've been exposed to, what kind of lifestyle they've had. And so we are on the phone now with Dr. Suma Muralidhar. I hope I said that name right. She is the program director for the Million Veteran Program at the Veterans Administration. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Larry.
And I apologize if I messed up your name, but gosh, it's sometimes I'm not good with names.
No problem. It's Muralidhar.
Muralidhar. Okay, I'll get it right. And Sumitra, Dr. Sumitra Muralidhar.
Yeah, I go by Suma. That's fine.
Okay, Suma. And where are you calling from, Doctor?
I'm in Washington, D.C.
So how did I do in the intro? Is this what this is about? We have veterans who are going to be studied, and you're looking for 1 million of them.
Yes, and you know, your whole reference to President Kennedy is absolutely on the mark, and this is a similarly, impactful program. And so we started upon this in 2011, and we actually started planning even way before that, when one of the undersecretaries for health at the VA said we will, have a genomic medicine program in the VA, and we want to be able to use all the technologies and the knowledge about genes to help veterans and to improve their health. And that's a statement he made 10, 12 years ago. And then we've been following up on that to make that dream a reality. Yes, and the thing is that in order to study and understand what genetic changes play a role in a specific disease, what we need are very large numbers, hundreds or tens of thousands of people with a condition or a disease and without it, so we can compare them. And that's why we went for 1 million. And we have had over 500,000 veterans who have come forward to enroll in this program. We just hit the 500,000 mark on August 1st. It's unbelievable. And, it's an entirely voluntary program, and it does not have any effect on whether veterans have access to their health care or benefits. It doesn't affect that at all. And it's been really humbling to see, veterans look at this as another way a second opportunity to serve their nation.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so they're coming forward voluntarily to enroll in the program.
And that's kind of what I wanted to point out, is that once again, the veterans are stepping up to the plate, and it'll benefit all of us.
Yes, because what we're looking at, some illnesses are more prevalent in veterans, like PTSD, for example, and some other mental health conditions. But we're also looking at chronic diseases like cancer, like you mentioned, heart disease, diabetes. And what we learn from all of this from the Million Veteran Program will apply to all of us, to all Americans and all the people in the world.
You also talk about researching high blood pressure and tinnitus.
Yes, we looked at, just based on the surveys and the electronic health record data we have almost 60% of our veterans who've enrolled have reported high blood pressure and nearly 40% tinnitus. And so here's an opportunity for us where we have such large numbers. If you talk about 1 million, 60%, that's a lot of people with high blood pressure. So we'll be able to learn much more about what's causing it. And that will lead to, can we get new treatments? Can we even, prevent it in the first place?
Right.
We can learn a lot from it.
What's interesting is that in order to have a database of 1 million people, and in order to actually be able to take that information and utilize it, I mean, just 10 years ago, 1 million pieces of database would have been almost impossible to analyze. But I guess technology has made it possible to make that database actually a practical, useful tool.
Yes, there's been a lot of development in that regard too. In computation in general, and we are actually partnering with the Department of Energy. They have one of the largest computing facilities in the world, and we are partnering with them so we can leverage the knowledge they have in computing with big data science. That's what it's called these days, and that's what we're trying to do to help researchers access this database and make discoveries.
So do the veterans have to sign up and come to your location, or or do they go to any veterans clinic or veterans hospital in their area and want to enroll?
Right now, they can enroll at one of 52 major VA medical centers, or we're also at around 60 community-based outpatient clinics. So we are planning to expand to other sites across the country, and we're also planning to go to develop a web portal so they can then access it from anywhere, from their home even, to enroll. But right now, yes, we invite them by mail, and then we set up appointments at the VA hospital that they normally go to, and we schedule an appointment at the same time that they're already coming into the clinic for something else, because then it's very convenient. And then they go through the whole consenting process, and it's pretty simple. Our staff will explain the program, and if they're interested, then they sign, answer all their questions, sign a consent form and a HIPAA form, and then they give 1 tube of blood, and that's all it is.
Is that right? Just a tube of blood?
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That is it. It takes about 15-20 minutes. Yeah, it's pretty simple. They do have to complete a couple of surveys, but they can do that at home on their own time. So really, the time to participate is minimal.
So it sounds like your job, as far as this radio interview and this whole thing you're doing with radio, is to encourage veterans to sign up and to also explain what it entails.
Exactly. Yes. So it's pretty simple, and what they do in that 15-20 minutes of their time, and then the time they take at home to complete the surveys, is going to go a long way. It's going to help, future generations of veterans, their own families, and the nation at large, as we talked about earlier. So what they do in the short time will really help a lot of people.
And have you found any differences that stand out as for veterans that are in combat on a number of different tours as opposed to veterans that are stateside?
It's a very interesting question. So we have just started opening the database to research questions, so I don't have an answer for that yet, but that is something that we will be able to look at.
Is there a reason why you're only surveying veterans? Should this be open to the whole public, or is there a reason for just veterans only?
So we're part of the healthcare system, and it's our responsibility to take care of veterans, and that's how we started with the veterans only who are within the healthcare system. But we are going to expand, to veterans who do not get care at the VA as well eventually. And in the near future, actually, we're going to open it up to active duty personnel as well. We're collaborating with the Department of Defense, and we'll be starting to do that soon.
Wow.
I think one of the progress things that I am impressed with is the fact that PTSD has been actually recognized as an actual condition and not just battle fatigue, as they used to call it. So I'm glad.
Right.
I'm glad we're making progress on those things. Doctor, thank you for your contribution to all of this and for being on the air with us today. Before we say goodbye, can you give us a website?
Absolutely. I'm going to give you two things. One is a toll-free number, which is probably the easiest way if veterans are interested.
Okay.
They can call 866-441-6075.
Okay.
And then our website is research.va.gov/MVP.
MVP, okay, /MVP. Dr. Suma Muralidhar. How did I do?
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Now you can come back and I'll do it right the next time. Doctor,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Bye.
We'll be right back.
Whether you're building it up or knocking it down, get it done, rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals is here to make your job a little easier. Our knowledgeable staff will help you find the right equipment for any job, big or small. Did you know that Sunbelt Rentals carries heaters, air conditioners, generators, lighting, traffic control, and so much more? So whether you're building it up or knocking it down, we've got the equipment you need. Get it done, rent it now. And right now, for a limited time, you can have it for less. Just by mentioning this ad, if you rent it Friday afternoon, you can keep it the whole weekend and only pay for one day. But this is a limited time offer, so stop into Sunbelt Rentals today, Northwest 27th, just a quarter mile east of I-75. For more information, just give us a call, 352-369-9101. 352-369-9101. Sunbelt Rentals. Get it done, rent it now. 352-369-9101.
Hi, my name is Erica Olstein. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. So, you used to be wired, now you're just tired. You used to be thin, but now you're the heaviest you've ever been. You don't necessarily always have to take a med if your thyroid is playing dead. If you have a thyroid disorder, an acupuncture visit may be in order. Come visit me, your primary